Good evening. My name is AJ Scipio, and this evening's workshop will be discussing the effects of untreated ADHD being more devastating in adults than in children. We're going to look at the symptoms of untreated ADHD in adults. We're also going to look at the symptoms of untreated ADHD in children and do a real-world comparison. If I can draw your attention to slide number 1, you will understand that our topic, if we're going to give this a title, it would be ADHD, Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, is not just for kids. The effects of untreated ADHD are much, much more devastating in adults. When we look at slide number 2, we find that in children, untreated ADHD manifests itself in a lot of different ways. We see here a child that is giving a vulgar gesture with his hands at 2 or 3 years old. We also see a child who is being ostracized from other children out on the playground. We also see where another child's academic performance is not up to par. But when we look at slide number 3, we see financial devastation. We see a woman who appears to be having difficulty on her job. We also see financial problems that go beyond bills not being paid on time. We see a broken heart that for us symbolizes the devastation that untreated ADHD has on relationships for the adult. Now let's look at the comparison, if you will. For children, their issues of not being treated for ADHD has a very small sphere of influence, okay? It's typically at home, typically at school, and in social situations. Now, when you look at your handout number 4 there, you will see that there's a campfire. Fire is dangerous, fire can burn you, but in that picture, you understand that the fire is contained. But when you go to handout number 5, you see a complete forest fire and the individual standing in the middle of it, and there's absolutely nothing they can do about it. This represents the sphere of influence that untreated ADHD has on adults. Let me give you an example. A woman who is home having difficulty in her relationships, not taking care of her bills, missing out on deadlines at work, loses her job, husband's upset, kids don't understand, bad credit rating, getting tickets, the impact is far greater. What do we need to understand? That untreated ADHD in children will bring about academic failure, poor behavior habits, and lack of discipline. In adults, it has a negative impact on relationships. It has a negative impact on the job. It has a negative impact on the financial stability of a household. But what do we need to do in order to change things? Don't be afraid to address ADHD. Don't be judgmental when you realize that you or someone you love has ADHD, no matter what the age. Face it head on and know that it's not a death sentence. Identify your symptoms. Get an official diagnosis from a specialist in that area. Your family doctor may be good at diagnosing ADHD because he or she has done it. Get medical advice. Begin a treatment plan that you feel will be successful. Give support and receive support. Having that good support system, nothing can take the place of that. And when you put those things in practice, you will become more successful. If I can draw your attention to our closing handout, number 6, you will see that the child is sitting well behaved in a classroom receiving assistance. A child can be successful with ADHD. And you also see a man climbing a wall, and he's got people helping push him up, and he's got people helping pull him over. ADHD, more dangerous untreated in adults than in children. But you can get help and become a success. Thank you very much.